Alright, hey guys, we are back with the Doomreaver here. Today we're going to head into the Lost Temple of Cazic, Thule. We've got some goals in there. Here I am standing in front of the Lost Temple. So some updates since last video. I already headed in and did a little bit of adventuring in there, and I got up to level 35. Once I got to 35, I realized I was still missing a lot of the Shadow Knight spells. So previously I had gone and picked up all of the Shaman spells for all the way through level 50. And I went ahead and made the trek up to Freeport and did the same thing, and then I had bound down here at Cazic Thule, so I just gated back down. So right now with Shaman, if I look at spells tab here, and with Shaman and Shadow Knight selected, if I show unscribed, I have the Mass Imbue and the Imbue spells for Shaman that I haven't gone around and picked up yet. And then all that's left after that is Remove Curse and Life Leech, neither of which are on the vendors, so I don't know if it is... What is the scout from Xanavar? He's ready to attack. I'm gonna kill him. I have no idea what that is. Didn't drop anything. No faction hits. Never seen that guy. Alright, so Remove Curse and Life Leech, they weren't on the vendors. Either Remove Curse might just be from another vendor. It could be from Priest or whatever. I haven't really looked. Or Cleric, I mean. I haven't really looked. And Life Leech, I believe, is a small quest line that I need to do. So that's all that's left. So I have every other spell. So as we level up, we won't need to make any more spell trips. And that's because in Runny Eye, we made a ton of money. I'm sitting at 3.2k platinum right now after buying all the spells. So that's crazy. So the income just ramps up. Like in the 30s here, it's just ramping up like crazy. So beyond that, there were no changes to gear or anything like that. Nothing changed in that regard. But I did want to talk a little bit about gear. So one thing that came up in the comments was asking if I would talk a little bit, or at least show exalts when we see them on items. So an example, I think, is if I look here at like the shimmering ruby stiletto that I got out of Befallen, it has this combat effect, Ignite. So if I level this up, I can actually remove that combat effect and move it to another primary or secondary item. I don't have this leveled up, so I can't pull this one out. But if you look at like my blackened alloy bastard sword that's at +5, I have all these slots unlocked. So the ornamentation one is unlocked automatically in the shimmering ruby. But as I leveled it up, each of these unlocked. I believe you need +4 to have them all unlocked. Maybe it is +5 to have them all unlocked. But since this is a combat effect proc, at level 4, I could pull this proc out and I could move it over into this weapon because they're both primary. Now when you do that, the proc itself, when you pull it out, actually continues to maintain any limitations it had. So if I look here, if I were to try to move this proc into the Black and Alloy Bastard Sword, it would have the proc Ignite would only be for these classes and all races for primary or secondary. So that would be its kind of circle of limitations. The Black and Alloy Bastard Sword is only for these classes, all races, and only primary. So it kind of does an overlap of both of the limitations. And whichever is the most limiting is what the item would become. So if I put this proc into this weapon, it would now be a primary only and only for these classes, because that's more limiting than this list. Actually, if I look at it, War, Pal, Range, Shadow Knight. So I would actually lose Berserker because the proc can't be Berserker. And off of here, I would lose Bard and Rogue because the sword can't be Bard and Rogue. So it makes the most limiting of the two overall. A good example is something like Ghoulbane Sword. The proc on that can be moved, but it would make whatever you put it into Paladin only, because it's a Paladin only proc. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Well, I think we'll see it more when I'm just a little bit higher level and I start leveling up some things that have stuff that I can move around. Now, I did do an example in the very first video because I had my Boots of the Traveler from the tutorial zone. And I did level those up so I could actually move or Boots of the Long Road, not Traveler, but Boots of the Long Road gives you Spirit of the Traveler is what I was thinking of. I did level those up so I could pull out the Exaltation In this case, it's a click one, not a proc. And I moved it over into my pristine studded leather boots. So if I, this is kind of its own item now. If I click on it, it tells me what it does. So it's, you know, it shows its own limitations, class and race. I have a lot of windows open here. Let's move this to the side. Class and race shows it's an augmentation. I can't level this up. You can't level up exaltations. They stay the same. So this is part of the UI, but there's nothing you can do here with this. The click effect is Spirit of the Traveler. And it fits in slot types, click exaltation. So the item has to have a space for click exaltation, which all of them do. I think it's beyond +2 or +3. Now what's cool is, as I go through the world and I collect items, let me close all these windows real quick and just open the boots. As I go through the world and I collect items, one of my key rings here, we kind of looked at key rings before. I have a bunch of items here in the equipment key ring, right, that I got using my other, here's an example of a click effect here, rune 4 off of the Blade Stopper shield. But I got these with my other build. Actually, don't know why I'm just holding on to a bronze breastplate in there, but sure. So we have the equipment ones, but if I look, there's one for augments. And I can actually like store, if I pick this up out of the boots, I can store the augments in here. So I can have all the augments that I collect out in the world as I'm adventuring. I can have them all in this key ring and available to me to swap in and out of gear as I need to. It's actually super cool. And like I said, we don't have a ton of stuff like that right now, but as we start kind of like cleaning up gear and really chasing some of the higher items, we'll be collecting a lot of those things to boost our weapons and stuff like that. In fact, honestly, it might even be worthwhile to go and level up the Shimmering Ruby Stiletto and get that Ignite proc out and throw it in our sword or something. So it looks like it's the only weapon proc I have right now available. Now, if you look at something like the Spirali gloves and any of the haste items in the game, haste is actually a stat. So any of the stats actually scale with the item leveling up. So anything that's a stat that's not in these exaltation blocks scales with the item. So the haste will continue to get better, AC will get better, all those things scale up. But you can't pull the haste out and put it into something else. So your best bet with haste, if you don't want to wear the item, is just to put it in your any slot. All right, let's head into Cazic Thule. We'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on. I did bind here, so I can leave. I can origin out to Hallis still if I want to, and I can always just gate right back here. There's not really a reason to, because I can sell inside of here. I guess one reason would be if I ran out of food, but I have quite a bit of food and water still. Since you can buy stacks of 100, it doesn't run out super fast. So we are inside the Lost Temple of Cazic Thule. Our goals in here, we have a couple of goals. We want to chase the Darkforged armor, and maybe I'll throw it up here on the screen, the checklist of Darkforged armor requirements. But basically a bunch of armor pieces, two decayed armor pieces for each of the slots I want to fill with my Darkforged armor drop in here in Cazic Thule from the Lizard Crusader or the Lizard Ritualist. So what we're going to do is go to the places where those spawn. Unlike Befallen and Runny Eye, I'm super familiar with the Lost Temple of Cazic Thule. I've spent a lot of time here. I've done these Darkforged quests before on Project Quorum, on my Ogre Shadow Knight. So I'm fairly familiar with them. So I'm not going to spend as much time just exploring. I'm going to kind of beeline to some places where I know the Ritualist and the Crusader are, but I'll talk about where you might want to go to hit the name spawns, pick some things up, and generally give a little bit of a tour of at least some parts of it. I may not go down into the wells and swim through the water and go to the gators and stuff like that. But on top of that, once we pick up all of our decayed armor pieces, we are going to also kill and camp, ideally camp the Avatar of Fear. So the Avatar of Fear in here can drop the rubicite breastplate. So all rubicite still drops in here if you're familiar with that from older EverQuest. And the rubicite breastplate has a regeneration on it. And that regeneration is a stat, so it scales with the rubicite breastplate. So if you pump up the rubicite breastplate a bit, you can get some good regen. Throw that in any slot, or maybe wear it, depending on how it works out for your character. So our goal in here overall is pick up all the decayed armor pieces, kill the Avatar of Fear, camp the Avatar of Fear. In fact, the area with the Avatar of Fear has some of the mobs that we need to spawn anyway. So eventually what we'll do is go hang out in that area and we'll just do a grind session there. Maybe that's where we'll throw in the montage. There's definitely some people who watch these just looking forward to the montage part. And of course we will have one. So let's head in and let's go chase some armor. So you can actually come here. If you look, these guys are level 11 right at the doorway. You can come in here super early. So if you're playing like an ogre and you're already in the Firot coming out of Ogok, like you can just come in here super early. I am going to go ahead. I always like to start off with summoning my pet. I don't know that I'll keep up with him. I do want to do maybe some videos with really like focus on a pet class and kind of talk about that if I get a chance. Let's see, this guy's 13. So this courtyard here, there's some guys you could fight, and there's some guys up on this ledge that are also in the, yeah, they're a little bit higher up on the ledge. But you could easily fight by the entry here very early. That guy's only 13. So we're going to start off, we're going to kind of run over here. And again, I'm not going to get super in-depth into a full tour like we did before. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is I already know it very well, and some of the other ones were like me learning the dungeon, and that's not as necessary here. But I think there's still be a good amount of being able to see what's going on in here. But the other part is we need to move faster. And the reason for that is that they released an announcement for Everquest Legends talking about the release date, the pricing, and plans for beta. So just to knock it out here real quick, the pricing is going to be $20 for the game, and then it's $10 a month subscription. With the $20 for the game, you get 1 month free. So it's effectively a $10 game and a $10 subscription is how it kind of works out overall. But with that, you get a couple of things. One, you get to, if you pre-order, starting this month, June 16th, 2026, if you pre-order, you can get into a new beta, or what would you call it? A reset of beta. They're going to let everybody into beta starting July 1st. And the second thing you get is the ability to reserve your name. So we only get one character, so they're giving people that pre-order the chance to reserve your name and get into the beta. Now with that July 1st beta, that's a full reset. That's a full wipe. So that means that all the plans I have here for the Doomreaver, I need to get done, and I have a lot. In general, my channel is kind of slow moving with videos, and I do them when I can. I try to put something out there every week, but I make no promises, as it's a complete side project just for fun. Yeah, I totally lost my pet because I was talking and not paying attention to him again, and you know, I feel bad for the guy, but that's just kind of what it is. I guess I'm a lone wolf, a lone black wolf. But anyway, I'm going to have to probably step up the pace of these videos for a little while, just to get in everything that I want to get in with the Doomreaver before, that I wanted to finish before beta. I thought I had all the way until release, which they also announced the release date is July 28th. I thought I had all the way until release, but now there's going to be a reset on July 1st. So, pre-order, June 16th, beta, July 1st, early access, July 28th. If you pre-order, you get to reserve your name, and you get to get into that new beta on July 1st. So if you're interested, that's going to be your time. Just get that pre-order in, get ready for July 1st. I'm going to play right up till July 1st, or as long as it takes me to finish the things I wanted to get through with Sigil here. And then I'll decide what I want to do for that July 1st, the new beta that's going to be happening. If I want to try to level this up again and do more if I didn't get done with what I wanted, or if I want to try something different. Most likely I'll try something different. I think I'll try to end this whole series with a quick video on my thoughts on what might be a good first setup based on my experience up until then, but we'll see how it goes. So all that just to say, just expect some more, maybe a faster pace of videos coming out, so I think I've got 5 episodes left that that I'm pretty sure I want to do. So we'll try to get them all done. All right, so we're looking for Lizard Crusaders and Lizard Ritualists, but this is one of the name mobs here, the Lizard Justicar, and to his right, you can get one of the mobs that we need, but he's not up right now. So we're coming in here, we're clearing this out. The spawns for the named mobs in here are going to drop rubicite pieces. They'll also drop the rogue armor, and they have a chance to drop some other things. Each of them's different. So we're going to hit up a couple of the main spawn points. We're going to do this one, then we're going to cut back and go into the maze. There's a ritualist that spawns in the maze. We're going to go kill him. And then we're going to head up to the pyramid. We're going to make our way all the way up the pyramid. We'll talk about what's going on there. We'll go all the way up and try to kill the Archon at the top. And then from there, our plan is to drop down or make our way towards the Avatar of Fear. Now, there's a lot of different paths to the Avatar of Fear. I think we're going to probably come in from above, because there's a chance in the room above the Avatar of Fear that the Ritualist or Crusader can spawn there as well. So that's the plan. I should work a little harder to kill these cleric mobs. We're super resilient though, although I'm fighting in balanced stance. This is what happens when I get in and just start talking and don't really pay attention to what I'm doing. Putting that in Berserker stance, this will go much faster. So I was also asked the question, how's the Berserker? How's it feeling? And my first answer was it's amazing. Like anything that uses a big two-hander, the doubling the attack speed, doubling the damage is just bonkers for a big two-hander. And that alone, Berserker stance alone, makes the Berserker worth it. Then on top of that, you get the Frenzy skill, which I should just check and make sure all my skills are still auto-firing. Haven't checked in a long time. But you have the Frenzy skill, which gives you even a bigger damage boost. And those two things alone just make this build that I'm doing with the Shadow Knight kind of main. The Shaman is the filler, the support, the augmentation of everything else. The Berserker is a huge add for damage. But if you think of the other damage dealing, direct damage dealing melee DPS, so just say Monk and Rogue, for example, they each bring something else to the table. I got like no drops from all that, but they each bring something else to the table, right? Like they have... Actually curious if these guys are... Well, I wanted to know if they were KOS or not, but then I just started attacking that one, so... But they each bring something else to the table, so Rogues with the stealth, so you can get around and sneak around. Monks with Feign Death, which is, just a full reset and huge. And honestly, one of those things that, when I'm considering what I want in my first build once the game is released, I'm going to really, really be hard-pressed not to choose Feign Death. I really like Feign Death. Obviously here I get it from the Shadow Knight, which is great, but there's other ways to get it. All right, so here's the front door again. We are going to go into this little door here, and that brings us into the maze. If we pull up the map and zoom in, you can see a lot going on in the maze. So where we're going to head is all the way down to this lower right-hand corner of the maze here. And there's a little altar thing, and there's a ritualist that can spawn there. And then we're going to go all the way up into this pyramid. And then we'll either drop down from the pyramid into the underground and make our way to the Avatar of Fear, who is in this area, or we'll come in from above. So if you can see, the Crusader is here, there's ritualists here. And then once we get all that established, and I kind of show it a little bit, I'm just going to put that on repeat. And the goal is going to be to get all of the armor pieces that I showed before. And once we have all of that, that's probably the end of this episode. And we'll pick up the next one with finishing up all of the Darkforge quests and getting that armor. Getting all the Darkforge armor, I'll use some moats and stuff to level it up as much as I can. And it may not be as good as the leather that we got from Befallen, but I'm probably going to wear it anyway. That look that we're going to have with that armor is exactly what I pictured on this character when I created him. And unless we get something later from the plains that is just, you know, way beyond it, it's going to be what I wear for now. That's I want to get to that point and have that look. And we all know, you know, Fashion Quest is more important than actual stats. We have to look good first. Now, what's cool is in the end, one of the exalts we're supposed to be able to pull out are the ornamentation ones, which are effectively, if you've played other games like World of Warcraft, it's the transmog. So we should be able to pull out the look of an item and move it to another item. So once that is assuming that's the way they go with it. Again, I always preface this with I'm not developing the game. I'm going off of what I know and what I've heard and what's been talked about. Assuming they go with that and it happens, then you know you can go quest for the thing that you want appearance wise and throw it on that, you know, that armor. Now I'm wondering if like armor type will have to stay the same, like plate to plate and stuff like that, kind of similar to the proc exalts and stuff. But we'll find all that out later. But if that's the case, when that happens, if that happens, I'll definitely be putting all the Darkforge pieces as my appearance if I do a remake of the Doomreaver. Which I don't see why I wouldn't. Everything's gone really well so far with it. It's been a fun build. There's a ritualist. So this guy should drop a couple of decayed armor pieces. I'll say Darkforge. That'd be great if you just dropped Darkforge, but he'll drop a couple of decayed armor pieces, and he's a Shadow Knight. Arm touched me. And they're random, so we may get ones we already have. So here I got the decayed helm and the decayed right gauntlet. Now, since I did run through here a little bit earlier, I did pick up a few pieces already. And it looks like I have the decayed left gauntlet, so that's awesome. And I have the decayed right and left. So that'll set us up for gloves. I already have the helm and visor, so we're set up for helm. So I don't need this decayed helm. I don't think it will actually sell for anything, but I don't need it either, so I'll just toss it. So we're trying to get all the other matching pieces, and I don't even have there's 2 chest pieces I need also. So I don't know the timer on this guy's spawn, but we'll check back with him after we do the rest of our tour here. Or not really a tour, but route. Here's the wizard spires, so you can get ported in here by a wizard right into the temple of Cazic Thule. Way back in the day, I used to do that. I had a lower level wizard, like level 30 or something, and I used to port in here. He had journeyman boots, so I would like port in Invis and try to run my butt out of here before Invis ran out because things were beating me up. All right, so this is the pyramid area. You can see we got the pyramid in front of us. There are mobs on all 4 corners. So if you had a group, looks like I need to rebuff. I'm running slow. Let's go down these stairs and rebuff while I talk. If you had a group, this area could support kind of 2 groups. One going up the pyramid and working their way up all the levels, and then one down here on the base, just running from corner to corner, which is pretty cool. We don't need to do any of that. So I am running also on difficulty 0 right now. And my plan is to pump it up to probably, I'm gonna fight the Avatar Fear and see how difficult that is on 0, and then I'll probably pump it up to at least +2 when I get to doing the grind montage. That way anything we get's a little bit higher, so it'll stack up a little better. You know what? I just memorized my spells and I didn't actually buff. I have to tell you, it's also very early in the morning right now, so I just need a little more coffee, and I'll be able to actually play. Okay, let's finish what I started there. So at 35, level 35 here, nothing in here is going to be huge experience. You can see that a lot of things are light blue. There'll be some blues going up the pyramid here. Got a guy there fighting. Oh, it's a guy that we just saw on the wizard tower. So if I go around the pyramid and to my left here, I'll fight all the way around it, and then I'll come up on this side. There is another ramp up. I'm gonna run around these because I'm actually going to be looking for any of the mobs that might drop Darkforge pieces. I believe the ritualists can spawn anywhere here on the pyramid. I think there's only 2 guys per level, but you know, maybe I'll kind of clip through it so you don't have to watch me just run in circles the whole time. And I'm kind of looking at the corners too. I don't think ritualists can spawn on the corners outside, but keep an eye out. Yeah, I know I'm going to miss one, and you guys will see it in the video because I'll be focused on something else, and then that'll be a comment. Hey, I thought you were looking for ritualists. There was one right there. So even these guys, though, drop in fine steel, so we're looking at more money. And we're just going to make our way all the way up. And at the top is the Archon, who is another named mob who can drop some stuff. Drops the arm plates, Rubicide arms, and also the rogue armor and something else. All right, we're just getting fanatics, so it's not what we're looking for, but it's fine. Actually, with this, we almost don't need our Spellblade proc to be healing. Although it's still convenient just to get to full health. I could probably put lifesteal or some other damage in there. It's only when we're fighting something kind of challenging that we really want that heal proc in there, because it just makes a big difference in our ability to stay in the fight and keep going. But I'm sitting over here drinking my coffee and being a little bit lazy, so we're not going to change it. We're just going to keep going. Oh, looks like Kiger might be headed up to the top also to fight the Archon, which is fine. I don't really necessarily need anything from the Archon. I'm just looking for some of the spawns that I would want that might happen up here. So if he gets up there and kills it before us, that's fine. Like I said, I'm also going to put this on... I'll either put this on a personal instance of +2, or I'll just look and see if there's anybody in +2. We can't pull that up in combat, but I'll look at it quickly afterwards. I mean, at this point, we might even be able to do +4. I'm just worried about setting up a personal instance of +4 and then really having a hard time with the Avatar Fear. Oh, here we go, Justicar. Oh, no, it's not Justicar I want, it's a Ritualist. I don't want to have a real hard time with the Avatar Fear. I want to be able to camp it pretty easily because we're actually looking for experience and items from him. So I don't want it to be every fight to be a struggle when it's just we're just going to camp out. Lizard Protector, Lizard Fanatic. Yeah, we don't really need those guys. But we'll clear them out anyway. And this is the top, so... Yeah, okay, so the Archon would spawn right in here. And stand up here, and you can pull him out. There's a couple of guards here that spawn, but it looks like that other guy ran up here and got him before us. So, since we're here... I'm in like a cup of water. Swim out the bottom of this. Very confusing series of swimming things there, but if you swim down, let me just pull up the map. If you drop inside of this temple, you can fall all the way down into one of these kind of 4 chambers here, and then you can swim out. And I swam too far. Into this little hallway here with alligators. These alligators will attack you, but I'm high enough level that they might leave me alone. They will attack you. Again, watch your air. You don't have to go too far. In the next room, you can pop up for air, so it's not that crazy. So once you get into this room, swim up. Right? You get some air. And you can hop out. Just put you in a little alligator room. This is actually a great place to camp for experience if you are the right level, because you can pull the alligators and then you can go out here. And you have more alligators and you've got lizard men, so we're going to come to a series of these little rooms. And there are roamers in here that will come around. I'll zoom out the map here in a second. So if we zoom out the map, we're headed for this area, so we just got to make our way over. If you come up over the top, there's a long hallway that takes you here without... what is even hitting me? Something in the water? Oh, it's got probably a gator in the water. Let's see. Yeah, sure enough. So there's a way to come to the top, and you'll see what I mean by top and bottom when we get into the Avatar Fears room. You can also, from back in the entryway area, at the very beginning, you can go down one of the wells and land on this series of little tunnels, and they kind of come together over here anyway. So that's what I was saying at the beginning. There's several ways to get here. All right, we are at 6 ability points. We just got an AA. I believe we had a plan for that. Yeah, I was looking at finishing blow, so I'd already picked up the first two rounds of it, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that last one. And train. All right, now we're dealing 300% damage on finishing blows. So just cross these few islands. We'll have to fight our way there, which is fine, because we're also looking for experience. Be nicer if these guys were a little bit higher. I'm actually going to pull some of this stuff together. Oops, I'm going back the wrong way. We do want to go this way. So this chamber right here is where the two pathways come together. Into that one, and then come all the way into here, and there's a little room back here. So in this room, I'll go ahead and... Actually, I'll just feign death everything that's following me. Or I won't, because I got stunned right as it went off. Alright, whatever. We'll fight him. I was just going to feign death to save myself a minute. The next room in here is where the Avatar Fear is, and there's the room with the Avatar Fear and the big green circle that he's in, and you can swim up through that. It's kind of liquid. You can swim up through it to the room above, and you can fight the guys above as well. And that is going to be the plan for camping out this area, and trying to get some rubicite breastplate and all that stuff. These guys really aren't even that strong. I just messed around with feign death, so they beat me up ahead of time, and now I'm just tearing through them. No big deal. I should have just come in and fought. There's a Lizard Crusader, so he'll drop the decayed pieces as well. So we'll hit him up after this. Assuming, am I even facing this alligator? Yeah. This Justicar has some heals, so it's keeping the alligator alive, but we'll run him out of mana. Let's just switch to the Justicar. He's a cleric. We'll get some dots up on him. And I think we'll also harm touch him. He's gone. Let's hit ourselves with a heal. I let myself get a little too low. I actually don't want that Crusader to get away. Let me go get him. Yeah, let's bring him in here too. Oh! The Lizard Crusader hits you for 212 points of magic damage with Harm Touch. I forgot that they were Shadow Knights. Okay, we'll do a reset. We'll come back down here. We'll grab that Crusader. I died on difficulty 0 to a barely blue mob. I did mention it's early morning, and I'm still drinking coffee, right? Yeah. Alright, I got rebuffed up, and I went ahead and bumped it up to a +2, and we'll try to pay a little more attention and not die to a low-level mob. So last time we went into the maze, and we went over here, and then we killed that guy, and then we went up into the pyramid, and we went to the top looking for ritualists, and then dropped down through the water and kind of took the water route. So I thought this time I'll take the overhead route. So across from the entryway, this is over there is where we came in, that double door. If you just cut straight across to these double doors and go in, and then take a right, you end up in this long series of hallways here. That's, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see it's going to take us all the way back to that same big room, except for we'll be on the upper level of it. Now we do still want that Crusader, so we will have to drop down at some point and kill him, but we can start with looking at what's in the room up above the Avatar of Fear. And depending on what class you're playing, other mobs in here will drop things that you might need. I know the Lizard Page has something for one of the quests. We'll see if he drops something here. Maybe I can remember what he's for. There's so many quests, so many things. I don't have them all memorized by any means. So I've just I just remember certain little key things that I've done in the past. So this brings us to above. Clear these guys out real quick. We'll keep exploring. Alright, we got all those cleared out. Pull these guys and head up the top here. Ooh, that's the bouncing that happened right there gets a little crazy. Alright, we're going to have to pay a little more attention here. We got a Crusader and his friends. We're actually going to go defensive while I'm getting this initial setup going. I'm going to try to slow these guys. This ground is slippery, so it's bouncing me all over and I'm getting stunned. So I'm going to try to get out of this slippery ground onto stable ground. There we go. Let's see what we can do here. The stuns are crazy. What do we got? There's a warrior bard we're facing, but who's stunning us? It's the... Must be the war bard, I guess? I don't know, we're getting stunned like crazy. Should be alright. Coffee's kicking in. Paying attention to my health now. Getting a lot of knockback, so I'm losing my slows, but... As long as we stay in the fight here, and I'm going to attempt to get them all slowed, because if I get them all slowed, I can pop back over into Berserker stance. Right now, I'm having to heal myself a bit between hits. Oh, it's the cleric. There's a cleric mob in here. That's what's stunning us. Got it. We'll come back to that cleric mob. We're probably going to want to take that guy down first. We'll try to get these other melee mobs slowed. It's the longest battle ever. What's nice about defensive stances, it does cut your damage way down, and it doesn't it doesn't deplete your stamina or endurance extremely fast, which is nice. It does slowly, work it down for blocking damage, but it's not so bad. Okay, so we've got almost everybody slowed here. We get this one. We'll switch back to the cleric, try to get him dotted up. I did use Harm Touch in there, so I don't have it available to knock this guy down when he starts healing, but we'll see if we can work him down. Actually switch to Berserker, they're all slowed, so it should slow down the damage. If I can get this guy down pretty quickly, he won't be healing everyone else and keeping him up. I think this War Bard is our next. His slow is about to run out, so we'll focus on him for now. try to get him knocked down. Oh, and I did set up quickness on my hotkeys here, so I can give myself some haste. So on top of our Berserker stance, I've also added haste, so that's going to be awesome. Yeah, we're tearing them up. I have to remember to use it, but we do have haste. Alright, so this is the Crusader, so when he drops, he's going to drop us some more decayed pieces. And it is the left leg plate. We have the right leg plate. That's freaking perfect. So now we've got gloves ready to go, we've got legs ready to go. Let's just make this our bag for stuff that's completed. We're still looking for these 3 plus the chest. We haven't had any chest pieces yet. So it is a bit of a grind. I came in here and made 3 levels just wandering around killing stuff and got the pieces I'd already had that you saw, so it's going to take some time. But a lot of that I'll do off camera. I'll set up a montage of some of it, and I will grind that out. Again, we want to keep the series moving a little faster now, so I'm going to try to get these kind of move through the plan and get the things we need to get done and get to editing. Editing is always the long part of all videos. On top of that, if I really want to try to have a custom song in every video, that takes me some amount of time. I've got to write the lyrics and then have to keep tweaking them and making changes, and it's not... I mean, luckily, like, the content of the lyrics is pretty... It's kind of, you know, I'm writing about what's in the game, what's happening in the game mostly, so there's a lot... Like, the content's easy, it's just putting it into some kind of form, you know, the layout that works well for a song, and try to be, you know, try to make it relevant. And then generating the music takes a lot of iterations, because I keep tweaking it and trying to get it to where I get something that I like. But I'll do my best. I'm kind of enjoying doing it, and I think it makes the montages, the grind montages, a little more interesting. I'll try to keep it going. Okay, so we cleared this area. Let's give this 1 second to rest up and man up. We're going to jump down, but it can be hard down there as well. All right, full health, full mana. We're jumping down. Oh, we are not jumping down. We're bringing... I didn't realize he would aggro up through the floor right there. But here we go. All right, we're fighting the Avatar of Fear. Buckle in, guys. This is what we came for. So he is... I'm going to flip over to... I am defensive stance already, so I'm going to get him slowed. He is Shadow Knight Necromancer. Good times. Get him slowed. Or we won't. Get him slowed. He resisted, I think. Looked like it went off. Okay, we got him slowed. We're going to get some dots on him. He came out hard with the harm touch is what did that big chunk of damage to us, and then I was stunned for a moment to not stunned in game, although that also happened. But I was trying to figure out, why am I fighting the Avatar of Fear right now? We're going to jump down after this, and I'll show you where he spawns and what it looks like down there, assuming we win, but I can go ahead and hit my harm touch here too. I hit myself with a couple heals if I don't get stunned. When I'm a little more prepared, we can go into this, we can pull with the slow and then get the dots on him and do those things. This was, I did not expect to be fighting the Avatar of Fear immediately like that. I'd planned to jump down, walk around the area, and show you guys what it looked like, but here we are. So he's an ugly bastard. You can usually see if he has like the Thulean claw, you'll see it on one of his fists, and we'll take another look at him on the next spawn cycle where we can really stare at him before we're just thrown into combat with him and his pet. I like his little arms. He's going to get us with his little arms. And his pet dies because he died. We're good. So we picked up a Raven Scale chest guard. So this is rogue only. So he can drop the Raven Scale chest guard, and he can drop the Rubicite breastplate, and he can drop the Thulean claws. So Raven Scale chest plate, really nice for a rogue. I don't have rogue in this build, but I am going to take it. And I will put that in my keyring. So if I decide to run a rogue build, I have it available. The only thing I've used rogue for so far on my restart, I had rogue in my original build when I first started playing on the beta, but the only thing I've used so far is just to sneak and get spells for the Shadow Knights. So I guess I could have a really nice breastplate while I'm sneaking to get spells. All right, let's drop down. So this is the room. Let me fight this Crusader real quick first, and then we'll talk about it. This is the room above the Avatar of Fear's room. This is where I was headed before when I died. A very avoidable death because I wasn't paying attention to my health. But you'll see here in a second, after I get this guy down, switch to Berserker, we can finish him up. So, Lizard Crusader, he's dropping decayed pieces. I didn't mention that, but and we finally got a chest piece. So if we look, I didn't have any of the chest. I didn't have the chest piece yet. So we have one of the two that we need for chest. And then he's dropping the right boot. We have the left boot. We're getting so lucky with that. Either we're getting, well, no, we know we get repeats. I'm about to say either we're getting lucky or there's no repeats, but we know there's a repeat because I got the helm earlier. So we're just getting really lucky with the left and right pieces that we need. So now we've got the stuff we need for 4 of them from here. There are other pieces we need, as I showed on the checklist. Maybe I'll throw it up here again. But we've got the 4 items completed from here. We'll go and finish them up. Probably in the next episode, we'll finish up all the Darkforge armor. So we really only need 3 more pieces. We just need the correct ones. We need the left vambrace and the left bracer and the breastplate. Okay, so this is the room above the Avatar of Fear, and there's, I think, 3 spawns up here, maybe 4, that you can fight. You have to be careful, because if you swim down a little bit in this water, I'm going to have to fight these guys first, but you can see right there, that top of that green dome right there is that green bubble is where the Avatar of Fear spawns. He spawns inside of that bubble. Okay, so these are the other guys that came. When I was up top, I had some guys add in the fight that I couldn't figure out where they came from, and I just figured maybe they were around the corner and I hadn't seen them, but these were the guys that came up and fought me up there before the Avatar came up. And then you saw, like, just standing above that hole up there, the Avatar's aggroed from inside of his bubble here. So what we can do for a camp here is we'll go down below. There's a couple spawns that we'll fight. There's the Avatar himself, and then we can swim up here and we can fight these again. And these are all blue. And there's the guy, the Crusader will drop our armor pieces. So this should be a good camp for us. So here we go. I'm just going to swim down into the green. And I'll fight these guys down here. So that's the green bubble, or the gumdrop, people call it, that the Avatar Fear spawns inside of. And there's some spawns around this room. There's guys that can drop our decayed armor pieces. There is the Cenobite who can drop a piece of Rubicite. We've got the Avatar of Fear who can drop the Rubicite breastplate or the other items like we've seen. I'm going to pay attention and not die while I'm talking. I think I'm going to hit in the back also. No. So this would be a great spot to just kind of camp around. And then if I go up this hallway, this is where I was talking about, is the room where I died, where I was on my way down here before. I think I might have said it was the one up above there, but it's actually it's up this hallway. The room up above does have another way to reach. So there was the way we came in way up top and dropped down. There's the mid-level one in the room that we were just in up above. And then there's this way coming from below. So there's multiple ways to get here. But this was that room I was in that I died. And I don't know if that Crusader that we saw is separate from this one. Than the one I just killed, I mean. But We'll keep an eye out for a Crusader. Another AA point. I haven't even decided what to go for next. We're going to wait here. We're going to get the avatar respawn, and we'll just pull him into this hallway and fight him. We can take a look at what he looks like in his bubble when he respawns. Real quick, I'm going to pull up alternate advancement and just kind of make a decision. Maybe try to make a decision. Maybe Blood Rune for... So melee and ability critical hits give you 5% of the damage done as an absorption shield, up to 5% of your maximum hit points. So I can get kind of generate a shield as I'm going. Blood Rune might be good. Oh, there's the Avatar Fear. That did not take... That is a fast respawn. That's amazing. So you saw he was in the bubble and he just came charging at me while I was contemplating my alternate advancement. See how long I can stay in Berserker stance. Got him slowed. He is a yellow spawn, so he's good experience for us also. This time he's just a Shadow Knight, which is awesome. We'll hit him with the Harm Touch. Maybe just able to stay in Berserker stance all the way. Excellent. Didn't give him a chance to summon a pet because we were in his aggro range, so he spawned and ran right out here. And we got some Thulean Claws +2. I'll go ahead and grab them. Worst case, I can always throw them on my pet or something. This is the plan. I'm just gonna rotate the spawns in this room for a little while. I'll think about what to do for alternate advancement. Burst of Power sounds interesting. Increasing flurry chance. I'll need to read through a few of them, but I think we'll come up with something. But if I had my guess correctly, thinking about what this is going to look like editing, I think this just leads us into a bit of a grind montage. So I'll montage out killing the Avatar Fear a bunch of times, and we'll see what we can get. Probably spend a good amount of time here. I don't know how many levels we'll make or anything like that. I'm about to make 36 very soon. We'll come back and talk about it afterwards. And assuming that we can get all of the Darkforge or the Decayed Armor pieces towards our Darkforge quest, then our next episode will be completing all the Darkforge armor. That should be a good time. All right, let's go.
Black Wolf! Doomreaver! Let's go! The Goblin King lay in the dust, running I bow because it must. But the road called Black Wolf back again, an epic journey would begin. Across the Caranas, wild and wide, with storm black clouds above his stride. No walls to shield, no roof to hide, only the horizon as his guide. Like rat tears dripped deep and blue, dark waters rippled as he swam through. Steel on his back, breath in his chest, driving him forward without a rest. Mountains rose against the sky, drakes and giants wander by. With relentless strength he goes, with unrelenting will he knows. He is fearless, the Black Wolf of the North. He is fearless, the Reaper of the Dead. He is fearless, Slayer of the Goblin King. He is fearless, he is the Doomreaver. True swan and none were spared. He is fearless, the black wolf of the north. He is fearless, a reaper of the dead. He is fearless, slayer of the goblin king. He is fearless, he is the Doomreaver. No fear remains, no prophets pray. The Avatar's blood was spilled today. He crossed the plains, deep dark lake, mountains, swamps, to seal their fate. Black Wolf Doomreaver.
Alright, so here we are. We're right outside of the Lost Temple of Cazic Thule. Got our grind on in there and camped out what we needed. Didn't make a ton of experience. We're only 37. We did make 37, but that's because everything was getting lower level than us, other than just a couple of spawns. And we were only after some specific things anyway, which we were successful. So I needed the decayed armor pieces, and I actually managed to get all of them. So we have the 2 pieces for the chest, the boots, the helm, the legs, the gloves, the bracer, and the arms. So that's the full set. We also picked up a few rubicite pieces. So we've got the breastplate, the gloves, the boots, and the legs. I didn't go chasing after all of them, but we've got a couple of drops of each of them. Not a ton of luck on the rubicite breastplate. I kept getting claws. So I've got the bladed Thulean claws are up to +5, and I got a couple of Ravenscale chest guards for rogue build. And I'll throw this into my my equipment keyring in case I ever want to use it on a rogue. And I'll just go ahead and throw the claws in there. I also picked up several versions of the Grimy Lance, which is a 2-handed piercing weapon. Currently up to .634, which doesn't beat our Blackened Alloy Bastard Sword. But we'll hang on to it. We've got some space. We have 29 of 50 slots filled, and I can probably just throw some of this stuff away. I've just been kind of collecting stuff in here. I also jumped back to Hallis real quick to go through my bank and see what all might have procs or things I could pull off. And I think there's actually probably some amount of, it might be smart to make a stop back in to Befallen and level up the Shimmering Ruby Stiletto. Although we didn't see very many, I do know who drops it, so I could kind of camp that out and try to get this Ignite proc and throw it onto my sword. That might be a way to go. We are going to be headed to Lower Guck soon, so we could also work on just picking up the more short sword of Ikesha, which I have from my other build. I haven't earned it on this build yet, but once I do, we can start stacking these up and get the Ikesha proc. That might also be a way to go. Probably a smarter way to go rather than backtracking. Just for an extra damage proc on our weapon here. I would go back and kind of push these items up to +10 or whatever, at least higher, but at this point, they're probably going to be replaced as I start getting into the later game, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. What I did find is the Golem Metal Wand. So this has the Pillage Enchantment click effect as part of the Golem Metal Wand Exaltation. And I believe, I haven't tried it, I was saving this for the video, but I think I can just drop this over into my two-hander. And now my two-handed sword has the click effect of Pillage Enchantment, which would be huge. I'm going to throw that on my bar here, and we'll give it a try as we're fighting in the future. And now you can see this Golem Metal Wand doesn't actually have any effect anymore, so I can actually just destroy that and get rid of it. And now if I want to move this out of this sword, I can just pick it up and drop it into my keyring for augmentations. And it will be available in here for any weapon I want to put it on. That's cool. We moved our first weapon augmentation around. I think we'll work on getting some kind of proc for the sword, and then we'll start thinking about what the next blade might look like. All right, so next what we're going to do is go ahead and finish out what we need to do for the Darkforge armor. That was the goal, to get all this decayed armor towards the Darkforge. And I'll throw the list back up here on the screen to talk about it here, but we've got some things we need to pick up from various places and some help that we need. Starting at the top with the Darkforge Bracer, we need the Broken Minotaur Lord's Horn, and that's from the Minotaur Lord in the Steamfont Mountains. It's a bit of a run, a bit of a hike to get out there, but the nice thing is that on the way, we are going to pass through Lesser Feydark, where we can make a stop off to get the fairy dust, the 2 fairy dust that we need for the Darkforge boots. We're also going to be passing through where the gnomes are, and there's a vendor out that way that sells the platinum bars that we need for the breastplate and for the gauntlets. And we'll be able to pick up those platinum bars and then get them enchanted. So Razman here in the Clickbait Guild, he's going to help me out by enchanting those. He has a leveled up enchanter, so we'll get that done. You could obviously level up your own enchanter to do it too. And then that just leaves us the Melitite that we need from Seleucus A, the damaged militia helms from Freeport Guards, and the Kinos Kite Shield. So actually, we can get we can go ahead and get the damaged militia helms on our way out or on the way back from the Lesser Feydark and the Steamfont Mountains. So we're going to pass through Freeport to head that way. So actually, on East Freeport, kind of near the docks, there's a good area to kill a couple of guards without causing too much of a ruckus and get those helms. All right, so I think the plan from here is to run our way up to Freeport. We will bind Affinity there in Freeport so we can gate back later. We'll kill some Freeport guards over in Eastern Freeport, and we'll get some damaged militia helms. We'll ride the boat across, or use the translocators across to Butcher Block, and run from there over to Lesser Feydark, and Lesser Feydark will pick up the fairy dust that we need for the boots. We'll run into the Steamfont Mountains, head to the Minotaur Cave, get the Minotaur Lord's Horn. I'll figure out where the vendor is that we need to get the platinum bars out that way. We'll pick those up. If we can pick them up in Freeport, that's cool too. Then we will gate back from there to Freeport, and we'll run up through, over into the Common Lands, up through Nectalos Forest to Lava Storm. And we'll head into Seleucus A. And while we're there, we'll bind ourselves right outside of the Temple of Seleucus Row. We could even maybe do some turn-ins there to get some pieces of the armor, but I think I just want to do all the turn-ins at once. So we'll bind right outside. Then, looking at what's left, we have the Kinos Kite Shield. And I think the best way for that is going to be to origin back to Hallis and then run down. I really want to fight the guards in Northern Karana, I think, or maybe Western Karana. So we'll do that from Hallis. And once we pick that up and we meet up with Razman, we'll just be able to gate back over to the Temple of Solro, do all the turn-ins, and we will be Darkforged. Fully Darkforge armor. That's going to be a big moment. That's something I've imagined on this character from the very beginning. So let's get to it. I'm not going to make you guys watch me run the whole way. We'll do some time lapse here. The horrifying bear spider. All right, so we are here at the East Freeport docks, and actually a little behind me there, you can see that's where you click to go up to the plane of sky, which is kind of cool. You just jump over, swim out there, and click that sucker. I can't go yet; got to be level 46, but we'll get there. But I'm going to bind myself here at the docks. I just did a quick rebuff. I'm going to load my spell set. All right, got our combat spell set up. I threw Bind Affinity on here real quick because we're just going to bind ourselves here. So that when we're done on the other continent, we've got everything we need. We just gate back over to here. Give ourselves a little bit of a head start on the next part of the run. And there is a guard that he was actually here when I just now started recording, but he pats through the inn over here. And he pats all the way out and just kind of hangs out here by himself. And he's a good guard to kill for this if you don't want to fight all the guards and totally tank your faction. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where he's at and follow him when he comes out. Now, if he's on a little bit of a patrol route, so here he is here. Guard Hiruzen. But you can see there's enough guys around here. I don't want to be fighting all these guys. He also pats over here near the Freeport Inn, and we can pull him back to this corner as well. And that should be safe, fairly safe as long as we don't get these guys. Sorry, I was wrong. It's not the... So So this guy here is then he pats out to the docks, and that's the guy we were just talking about. But this other guard here, Goman, he pats over here, which is also a pretty safe place to fight. There's no other guards around for him to get. He is yellow level 38. He's a warrior. We're just on 0. So I'm going to go ahead and fight him. I'm already dubious, so I do have a little bit of a concern that even killing a couple of these guys might completely tank my reputation here, but we can fix that if we have to. So this should be an okay place to fight him. Hopefully, we get the helm that we need from him first try. And then we'll go chase the other guard down over by the docks, and we'll take him out too. And if we get both helms right away, boom, boom, that will be everything we need for our Darkforge helm. Of course, this is Shadow Knight armor, so of course you have to kill guards and, and other things for it. Because Shadow Knights are evil. The Doomreaver's not necessarily evil, he's just inevitable. Dang it. So we got a short sword. We did not get what we need from him. That's just bad luck. Let's take a look. They're still dubious. See, there's too many guards here. I could probably take both of these guys at the same time, a blue and a light blue. And here a white and a blue, but I'd be worried that I'd get all 4 of them and have to have an epic battle to try to get them down. Which if I get impatient, I'll probably do. But I do know that the other guard pats out here, so we'll give him a second. We'll fight him out here. We'll see if we get lucky. But we do know we need 2 damaged militia helms, so I'm going to double check and make sure these guards particularly drop them. So guard here is in, drops them, and Goman also drops. So they have a chance to drop it, as we saw. It's not a guarantee. I know on Project Quorum it was 40 or 50% chance, so about half the time they dropped them. But that I don't know the drop rates here on Everquest Legends, so. Alright, here he comes. Okay, let's get out there and get ready for him. I was about to say I'm impatient and I'm going to go just fight all those other guards. But we'll give this a try. At least this will get us one. We may still have to fight some of the other guards to get the other one. I don't know what's right behind that wall, so I'm going to get him away from the wall just a little bit before I attack him. Be cool if he had something to try to pillage so I could just see how that works with my weapon, but it's alright. I would harm touch this guy, but I think I'm going to save it because if I end up in a fight with like 4 guards, I may want to save it to get one of them down quickly. But this is fine. Not much of a challenge. I've got dot running. I've got him slowed. My full buffs are going. We'll be alright. I do need to take a look at what I got for... Oh, there it is. Damage Militia Helm. There's one. We'll just auto-sell these. I do need to take a look at what I have for spells for level 36 and 37. I didn't really look at what was new there. And I just want to say I really like that they spread out the spells over different levels throughout. I may have said that earlier in one of the videos, but... You know, EverQuest, typically you get a big chunk of spells at certain levels. And here they've just spread them out across the whole range. You can see I have spells at every level that I'm getting, which is super cool. So 36, a couple of things. Beely, this is good. It gives Spirit of the Wolf indoors, but with Legends we have Spirit of the Wolf indoors anyway. But it does have an increased attack rating with it, so we may swap that in to our fight set. Instead of Spirit of Wolf, we'll put the Spirit of Beely, so we get that attack benefit. Got a debuff. We've got a poison rain, so that's an AoE. Got a bigger life tap, which I actually don't think I have a life tap on here currently because I was swapping things around and I don't think I ended up keeping it. So we'll throw a life tap on here. Or maybe I dropped it. Maybe it was in that slot and I dropped it when I wanted invisibility for Runny Eye. Oh, we got vision range. Okay, so a new We have a new poison dot, which can go on here instead of the disease one because it's much more damage. We have a new shaman pet. I wonder if the shaman pet, if I'd have any better luck keeping it alive than the Shadow Knight pet. I doubt it. I doubt it. Got Glamour, which is Charisma. Shadow Vortex. Armor Steel, which I think I had. Yeah, we can upgrade. Scream of Pain. Scream of Death is the Lifesteal permanent buff that upgrades. I'll have to put that on my buff set, but that's going to upgrade our Vampiric Embrace. Animate Dead is our new... Oh, it's level 38. I actually don't have that yet. I'll have to try to remember to put Scream of Death. Okay, let me save this set. Save our fight set. And I would just go ahead and load the buff set and upgrade it right now while I'm remembering. And we're just giving these guards a minute to respawn, and then I'll run out and find one to kill. So real quick before we get back on the hunt here. So this is a new item that drops in Blackburrow. So today the Blackburrow changes came through to revamp the drops in there. There's now some named spawn camps, which Blackburrow really didn't have before. And there's a bunch of new drops in there, much like they did with Befallen, where they brought it kind of up to a new power level and kind of a new status. So Blackburrow got its rework, and one of the items that drops in there is kind of cool. I believe this is where this drops is it actually has a click effect for shrink, which is kind of cool for people that don't have it. It's a good spot for barbarians, especially to pick up an early shrink item or a way to shrink if they're not shaman. There's a whole bunch of new stuff out there. It'd be worth checking out. I spent a bunch of time in there, but they didn't have all the revamped stuff in there. But at some point, it'd be really cool to check out. Probably not going to head back there with Sigil here, with the Doomreaver. We're going to continue forward with the plan. But stuff is constantly being updated, constantly changing. All right, we're not going to waste time hunting out a guard. We are just going to fight these two. Wait, are they on the same... Yeah, they're on the same faction. They have that square, which is the faction symbol for their faction. We're just going to pull both these guys and hope one of them has a helm and that it doesn't make me completely KOS to everything in the city. Oh, here they come. Now we got 3. I got them all slowed. Okay, so the first guard that died actually dropped the militia helm I need, so I'm going to attempt to feign death and drop these guys. I'm going to turn off... I didn't mean to kill that guy. Well, apparently he had to die. So now I've got both militia helms, but I already had one. So I'm going to try to feign death off this last guy to save myself the faction hit, is what I was starting to say. My auto tech was too strong. So we'll just loot all of them. We'll sell this bronze short sword. That's really funny. Sorry, guard Yandalin. You didn't have to die, sir, but that happens. Now the question is, what's my faction look like? So he's indifferent because I'm feign death, but when I get up, dubious. So we're still within dubious. Not bad. That would really suck if that one extra kill knocked us over. Alright, so we're going to take the translocator, we're going to head our way towards Lesser Feydark, and we're going to try to pick up our next item. Alright, we're here in the Lesser Feydark. We came in from the Greater Feydark, and we're running over. There's a little area here on the map called the Fairy Court, and the fairies in that area can drop what we need. We're looking to grab the stuff we need for our boots, which is 2 fairy dust. So we are just going to be decimating a fairy village here. Amongst, I love their little houses though. There's like a little fireplace, little chimney built into a mushroom. They've got little like storage containers or sheds or something outside. Like, it is super cool. There's some guy named Gearheart in the middle. I don't even remember what Gearheart's for. So these fairy are like, oh, a barbarian is our friend. They're actually not even friend, they just don't care. They're just indifferent. They're about to learn a hard lesson in life. About Shadow Knight. About a Shadow Knight who needs some armor. It's going to go real poorly for them. So maybe, since these guys are so easy to kill, this might go super fast. So we want Fairy Dust, and we've already got one. So we're just gonna... Okay, so that was a super short adventure. We've got our Fairy Dust. That's all it took. We did take... I think we take a hit to their faction. Yeah, Fairy has been adjusted by -2, but I would bet with just those 2 kills, they're still just... Oh, now they're apprehensive. So they were indifferent. I punched them down right into apprehensive, but that's fine. We don't have a lot that we need to do with the fairies anyway. So Fairy Dust, super easy, super quick. In the bag for the boots. Next, we're going to be headed over, pull up the map. We're going to head back all the way across Lesser Fadar and head to the Steamfont Mountains. Okay, I didn't capture it all on video, but we are here. Came over from Lesser Fadar. We're here in Steamfont Mountains, and we've made our way over to kind of the northeast corner of Steamfont. And where we're going to actually want to go is in this little collection of caves here, way up in the northeast, in the top right corner of the map there. Having said that, I also ran down here to Akanon, the gnome, if I can get my map right here, the gnome city, and I grabbed some platinum bars, and I met up with Razman and got them enchanted. So we now also have platinum bars. I thought for some reason it was 2 bars per 1 enchanted, but it's actually just 1 per 1. So I need 3, ended up with 6. We're going to have some surplus just probably sitting in the bank until I find some use for them in the future or never. But either way, we got them. So those are what we're going to need for the breastplate. We need 2 of them for the breastplate, and we need 1 for the gauntlets. So another setup completed. But we're going to go for the Broken Minotaur Lord's Horn. For the bracer is what we're here for. So we're going to zoom in on these caves up here. We're going to make our way in here. The Minotaur Lord can spawn. There's maybe 4 spots. His placeholders are the Minotaur Slavers. But we're just going to kind of kill everything in here until he spawns. That's what I've done in the past, and it worked. And that's what we're going to do today. So we'll get to the cave, we'll buff up, and we'll head in. Depending on how long it takes, I may not show all of it, but either way, we will secure the piece we need for more Darkforge. There's a chance that he's up as well, and when the Minotaur Lord dies, he also spawns a Minotaur hero who we'll have to kill. There's nothing we want from him, but something we'll have to deal with. Now these guys are going to be like gray to us at this point, so this isn't a huge combat challenge for us. There might be some greens, there may even be a light blue in here somewhere, but most likely they'll just be grays. And then once we clear this out and we get what we need, we'll be gating back over to Freeport. And we'll make our run for the other things we need. I almost ran off again without rememming my combat spells. I have a habit of memming my buff spells, doing quick buff, and then just running into combat and then finding, oh, I don't even have Feign Death. I can't even get back out of combat and restart. Probably something there about putting Feign Death on my combat set or something so I can save myself from myself. Yeah, these Minotaur Slavers, these are the placeholders, not necessarily this one. It's a little further in, so we're going to skip that guy. And I'm actually going to look up. I know that's like, if you look at the caves, if I zoom in on the map a little bit, it's kind of like in a line, like there's one like here, you know, like kind of 4 going north to south in the map. But these guys, yeah, look at that. First hit, almost killed him. He's level 9. This is going to be so easy to... Level 11. It's going to be real easy to just kind of run through and wipe out everything until we see the Minotaur Lord. There's another quest mob up here. I think his name's Maldrath. Yeah, this guy's talking about Maldrath here. Or Meldrath. Spring water, we'll just sell that. And we'll run into that guy. He's I think that's the gnome that's up here. Actually, that is a quest item. Let's just grab one. I always like to grab the quest items and go look them up later. So here's a blue on the map, and that'll be Meldrath. The gnome that hangs out in this room up here. We'll cruise in here and clear this room out and just make our way around. Don't really need the map necessarily. Although I do kind of like to follow it around sometimes. But he's a 35 Necromancer, but pretty easy kill. We'll auto... Oops, I meant to put that on auto cell. That's fine. I don't know if the Minotaur guards are placeholders. I know the slavers are for sure. But, again, we'll just clear everything. So I'm going to do this for a little bit until I get a lord to spawn, and then I'll check back in and we'll capture that on video here. But shouldn't take too long. Shouldn't take too long. Alright, I see him on the map. Minotaur Lord. Let's go down there and get that guy. There we go. So if I remember right, he spawns the Minotaur Hero immediately afterwards. And we'll have to deal with that guy too. I've been here long enough that most of my buffs are starting to wear off. And there it is. Broken Minotaur Lord's Horn. That's what we need. And no Minotaur Hero. Okay, maybe I was wrong about that. So that is all we need out here on this side of the map. We're going to gate out and head back to Freeport and then head up to Lava Storm and get the next thing. Alright, so I changed my mind and I didn't... Well, I did go back to Freeport, but then I decided not to run up to Seleucic Sol A yet and head in there for the pieces that I need. Instead, I decided to Origin, head out to Hallis, and then run myself down here to the Kanos Hills. And we're going to go for some guards here. We need some Kanos kite shields. And we're going to hit this guard station here. And we're going to fight these guys. So this guy's light blue, and there's a guard Nash who's yellow. And we've got guard Kellot inside who's gray. So we're just going to fight these guys here. I don't know if this guy will join. I'm hoping not. But we'll do this real quick, and if you look, if I zoom out a little bit, so I ported into Hallis, I ran down to Blackborough, came through Blackborough, and I'm just right here. And then if we just pick these up here, then we can gate back to Freeport and just run up to Lava Storm, to Sol A. We can do what we need in there, and then we're right there at the temple. We can do all the turn-ins in one shot. I don't know, I was thinking about like running there and then teleporting it back, and made it more complicated than it needed to be. So I'm going to buff up, and then we're gonna hit this guy. Alright, so we're all set up here. So this Neklo Reslar guy wandered over here near the guard. So my plan is actually going to be to attack the gray guard in the back. Guard Kellot. I only need one Kanos kite shield. So if I can take him down really quickly and get that loot, then I can feign death. I'll run away and feign death off the rest so I don't keep hitting my faction. Let's give it a go. I don't see guard Nash nearby. He kind of patrols out there. So I'm going to attack this guy. They should all come and hit me. But I'm just going to go ahead and put a dot on him right away. And then see if I can just take him down real fast. Okay, so that Neklo Reslar doesn't join. Now I'm going to turn off my... Okay, I turned off my attack. He did not have a kite shield, so I'm going to go ahead and get this guy then. It's quite a faction hit. It's something I can fix later, but I was kind of hoping to do it without without too much trouble. Okay, those guys did not drop the shield. So actually, what I'm going to do is, actually, we'll go ahead and kill Guard Nash. Maybe he drops the shield. What I'll probably find out is I'll go do a little more digging and find out these guys never drop the shield, and I have to go out there to the Karanas or something. And if I do, that's fine. That's fine. If I tank this too badly, I'll just have to remember when I'm running into Kanos. Maybe do a little work to fix it up later. But again, not too concerned. Plus, July 1st anyway, they're going to wipe us, and all my faction problems will be fixed. And I can probably live with it until then. But I need that kite shield for this sweet, sweet armor. And there it is. Kanos kite shield. And apparently the head of Gardnash is good for something too. We'll have to look that up. Alright, let's see. What is my faction then? I'm just indifferent now, it looks like. Assuming those guys are apprehensive with that guy. So I didn't bring myself to kill on sight or anything like that, so I think we're good to go. Alright, so with the Kanos Kite Shield, all we have left is to pick up the Melitite that we need to go talk to the gnomes in Sol A. So I'm going to gate my way over to Freeport and run up to Sol A in Lava Storm. And that's where we'll pick up the adventure next. Alright, so here we are in Seleucix I, or Sol A, depending on what you want to call this dungeon. We came in over here from Lava Storm Mountains and made our way all the way through. I just invis past most things. I got caught once with the invis and killed a couple things, but here we are now over here by the Gnome Fortress. And you can see little mecha gnome guys and a gnomish miner. So it's some of these mecha gnomes that drop the Melitite that we need. But only certain models. So the MC is one of them. We've got a little list over here. The CA is not one. I don't think we can get the MC without also getting the other one. And this is an MA, which does not. It's all names that end in X, B, or C. So we're going to kill some of these gnomes, and we're going to see about getting some Melitite. So we'll start with this model MC. I think I'm going to end up having to probably fight all these guys in here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We need 2 Melitite. So what I will do is focus on the MC guy and see if I can feign the other ones off. Although, I don't know how much it matters if we worry about our faction. Again, we're going to wipe here in a few weeks. So, let me see if I can just feign these. What do we get? Broken Frost Module. Well, that's not what we need, but it's some kind of quest, so we'll sort that out later. And this is the last thing we're going to need to go back out to Lava Storm and go across and just do the turn-ins for all the Darkforge. That is a locked door, that's right. We can go out and come around to get to the back side of the castle. MA, nope. CX, yes, CX will drop it. CA will not. Okay, so let's kill the CX. We might just end up killing everything and let them respawn. That way we get the chance that we get more of them that we need. We got some clockwork oil. You know what? I'm just going for it. This is going to be a bloodbath. Well, they're mechanical, so it's not really a bloodbath. There's going to be loose bolts everywhere after we're done here. Alright, took out all those guys. I don't know the respawn time, but we'll just kind of keep making our way around here fighting. Marfin Binkdurple. He is not going to drop what we want, so I don't know. Maybe we'll leave him alone. He won't respawn anything that we want, so I'll go ahead and get this guy, though. That gnomish miner wants a piece, so there is going to be a bloodbath. Nice. Out here, I can get out of first person. When I'm getting inside of those little corridors, I get into first person because I can't see anything anyway. We'd just be looking at the back of my head like this the whole time. There they are. They're up here on top of the wall. So that MA is nothing. We don't want that. Unless it's a placeholder. But these guys, now these guys can drop what we want. Let's see if we can get it. I'm also thinking I haven't started editing for the next... The next episode is going to be called Fearless, and likely you're watching an episode called Fearless right now because I'm thinking I didn't get to editing it yet, and I got excited about just finishing the armor. So I'm thinking I'll go ahead and probably add in this part as well. So we'll get the... I was gonna end the Fearless one at finishing up in Cazic Thule. Yeah, but I think I'll go ahead and add in the kind of the quick clips of me getting all the pieces to the armor and including them and include that in the video. I mean, oh, we got a militite. Awesome. So we got one. One of the two that we need. All right. These Model XBs, they dropped 2 of the militite pieces that we needed. So we are done here. So all we need to do is make our way back out. So I'll make my way back across the dungeon because I want to be right out in Lava Storm. I'm not going to gate out or anything. Although I could have bound outside there, but I kind of like just leaving my bind point in Freeport. So I'll run my way back out there and we'll pick it up headed into the Temple of Seleucic Row. And we'll go from there. Alright, so we're here in Lava Storm. Actually, the Brutal's maps don't work for that. You've got to go to the default maps. We're by the little lava pit that has Soul A, Seleucic's Eye, and Soul B, Nagafen's Lair. And across the way is also the Temple of Seleucic Row. You can kind of see the ledge right there, and then this streak it's kind of behind that streak there. So we're going to run up this wall. We're going to head around. We're going to head into the Temple of Seleucic Row. Now, we have everything in our inventory that we need for all the turn-ins. These pieces of melitite were our last pieces. We've got the Kanos Kite Shield. We're going to do them one at a time, and then we're going to put on all that badass armor. And we're going to walk our ass out of the Temple of Seleucic Row. My plan will be to use some of my saved up motes on the armor to kind of bump it up a little bit, and then I can always bump it up later as I get more motes. Especially if I start running stuff in +4, I'll get more of the +4, +5 motes, and I'll be able to pump things up a little bit. I've just been doing what's convenient for leveling, or what's kind of what I'm capable of, or easy enough for farming. But we can definitely take on harder stuff. This is a pretty good, it's a pretty solid build overall. I'm not unhappy with it at all. This is the Temple of Seleucic Row. There's various people who give quests for all the different classes. Ours are going to be up in here for Shadow Knight, if I remember correctly. And I can figure out how to get up there. Bunch of little doors. That brings me out here. Then I think I go back into this other... I'm stuck on a torch. Okay. Apparently my face wanted to be one with the torch. And then over here. Is this right? Oh, yeah. An Undead Knight and an Undead Knight. So these guys are the ones that give the Shadow Knight quests. I hail them. Leave this place or find yourself bound in the land as I am. I was torn to pieces for failure to complete a task for my master. I lost my life, my precious Shadow Knight armor, and most of all, my lower body. Ask him about this Shadow Knight armor. My Darkforge armor, it was taken into the land of lizards by the Lizardmen Crusaders. It is worthless, decayed armor now. I cannot even wear it anymore, but perhaps you can. Would you like me to make you Darkforge armor? Darkforge helms require my decayed helm and visor, as well as 2 Freeport militia helms. So decayed visor, decayed helm, and 2 Freeport militia helms. Let's start there. Where's the... Oh, I didn't see the little trade window pop up. I was like, where's the trade window? Okay. I was expecting it up here for some reason. Yeah. I had to take a long break before I just now filmed that Seleucic A part. And it's pretty late at night now, so I'm That might be a little loopy. We'll see. Let's make sure. I like to double check these things. Although they're pretty good on EverQuest Legends. If you turn in the wrong stuff, you'll get it returned. That's been my experience so far on EQL. All right, so let's double check it. Decayed Helm, Visor, and 2 Freeport Militia Helms. Decayed Helm, Visor, 2 Freeport Militia Helms. Boom, we got a Darkforge Helm. Not terrible stats overall. AC 13 plus intelligence plus some saves. It's arguably better than the Blackened Alloy helm. And once we pump it up to +4, it will definitely be better than that. All right, then he said the breastplate requires the Decayed Breastplate, Decayed Mail, and 2 Enchanted Platinum Bars. Decayed Breastplate, Decayed Mail. Do it. Decayed Breastplate, Decayed Mail, and 2 Enchanted Platinum Bars. 1 and 2. You can probably stack them. It doesn't seem to matter too much here, but I'm always nervous about it. In EverQuest, I try to give everything separately if possible. We got the Darkforge breastplate. Probably isn't going to be better than our pristine studded leather. But I'm telling you, I'm going to wear it anyway. It's just going to look so cool. We're going to wear it. All right, that was the breastplate. And this is Van Braces. The arms require both Decayed Van Braces and a Kinos Guard Kite Shield. So we have Decayed left and right. Get those turned in, and we'll grab the Kite Shield. We've got some Darkforge arms. And last, the bracers require both Decayed bracers and a broken horn from a Minotaur Lord. We have the right and left bracers. And we could repeat this and get a second bracer, but for now we're just going to get the one. And the broken Minotaur Lord's horn. And you can see here I actually got the horn dropped as a +1. And you can turn in a +1. It doesn't matter. For quest items, it doesn't matter. It doesn't improve the result of the quest item or anything. But you can turn in any +1 through 10. It won't matter. You sure you wish to give an augmented item? So it has a +1. It has actually. Oh, this is a question. I can actually I think I can pull. Oh no, I can't pull this out yet. Or maybe I can't because it's in the trade window. Let's... Okay, so I can pull this exaltation out for Wind Resonance 8 from the Broken Minotaur Lord's Horn. But I don't know if that ruins it for the quest or not. But for science, I'm going to try it. So what I'm going to do is just go to my keyring, and I'm going to go to augments, and I'm just going to throw this in the augments. I'm not doing Bard right now. I may not even do Bard at all in beta. Honestly, Bard is probably something I will have when the game actually comes out full time. I had it in my previous build before I restarted at the beginning of this series, and I completely deleted and started over at the beginning of the series. And really enjoyed it. It fills so many gaps. It's super excellent. But right now, I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna play other things. I know I'm going to get tied into Bard there. Plus, I always loved Bard in EverQuest. It's been one of my favorites. It's my only level 60 character on the Project Quorum server. It's good stuff. Okay, so we took out the exaltation, so we could use it. We could drop it into a weapon or something if we wanted to use it. So let's see if he will take this without that in there. Oh, nice. Okay, good to know. So I have a Darkforge bracer. So if you can, and if there's something you want from one of these items, from a quest item like that, level it up, pull it out, and then it's the item still works even without the exalt. That's super cool. All right, scroll down to the bottom here. We're looking. We've got everything we can from him. Although I do kind of want to ask him about the lower body. He said bound to this land, and then he talked about the Shadow Knight armor, which we clicked on, but he also said my lower body. My lower body was taken from me along with my hands. I was pieced together using portions of other failed champions. Now I can only craft or only create Darkforge armor in the form of helms. Okay, so either path leads you towards the Shadow Knight armor, the Darkforge armor. But that explains why he can only do certain pieces. All right, this other one. Away from this place of torment, make haste and flee before you too share my gruesome fate. I was once a proud Shadow Knight, but failed I did in my master's quest. I was sent to a lizard fortress deep in the swamplands. I was to seek out an ancient item for my master. Probably the Rubicite breastplate, right? I mean, what else would you go there for? I failed and was captured. The lizards stripped me of my Darkforge armor and planned to boil me alive, but before they could do so, I escaped. Upon my return to my master's lair, I found myself in a worse predicament. Okay, so we know if we click on Darkforge armor, it's going to lead us to the right dialogue to see what he makes, but I want to see worse predicament. I was torn apart by my master, and my bones were given as toys to my master's associates. I am now only half Grandif the Vile. My hands, feet, and legs were sent there and assembled with spare bones of other unfortunates. Since this is the case, I can only create Darkforge armor in the form of boots, greaves, and gauntlets. Okay, fair enough. All right, so here we go. Darkforged gauntlets require both of my decayed gauntlets and one enchanted platinum bar. So we have left and right gauntlet. And one platinum bar. Boom, we've got gauntlets. Oh, where's my bag with, there we go. Let's look up here. So the greaves, the legs, he needs both decayed leg plates and 2 pieces of melitite, which we just got. We've got the right leg, left leg, and 2 pieces of melitite. And that gives us the leg plates. And then last but not least, the boots, we need 2 parts of fairy dust and both of the decayed boots. So we have left and right boots. And we have 2 fairy dust. And there it is. We've got all the pieces of Darkforge.
Forged in blood, forged in flame. Every scar earned its name. Iron black, shadow born, wearing death like a crown of thorns. Dark forge, gold as steel. Dark forge, death made real. Black wolf and ball, hear the call. The Doomreaver stands above them all.
All right, guys. Obviously, I put back on the scythe just for the just for the reveal there. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I was actually going to split off like I said before, I was going to split off the whole Darkforge part into its own video and call it Darkforged and give it that song you probably just heard, assuming that I did my editing job correctly. It's a little bit shorter than the other songs, and I thought that would be kind of a cool one. But I got excited about it. I went and got it all done, and we captured it in this video instead. I'm just going to stick them both in there, and you get a bonus song in this episode. I've had a couple requests to pull the songs out separately, and I was considering making like some kind of a that guy was right on me for a second. I was making some kind of a playlist for just the songs. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. I'm thinking about doing it. I'm not a musician, so it feels a little oddball to do it. I write the songs, I write the lyrics, but I don't do any of the music. So I don't want to be false advertising that I'm any kind of musician. I like to figure it out. I like to write the songs. I like to try to do the layout. I like to work with the software to kind of figure out what the song might sound like. But as long as I present it correctly in that light and be very open about how the music was made, then I don't have any issue with it. If that's something you'd want, let me know. I actually find myself listening to some of those songs myself, occasionally. since I have them all separately. I would probably just make a YouTube playlist and put all the songs in there with some kind of little bit of a video to go with them. I'm not going to sit here and edit out a full video, but you know, something on the screen to look at while you listen to it, and probably put the lyrics up there on the screen. We'll see about doing that. So in the off time, I'm going to pump up this armor a little bit. I'm going to do what I can with my motes to get it a little stronger, and we're going to wear it. I am going to put back on my sword. I just like the look of the scythe here for the overall look of the Doomreaver. This was the goal from the beginning, to look this good. When we get to planar stuff, we may replace some of these pieces, obviously, and try to pump those up, but those are also going to look good. But the main goal is to get this Darkforged armor. Our next stop is going to be Lower Guck. We're going to get in there. We're going to get ourselves up into probably the mid-40s. I might get in there ahead of time, off camera a little bit, and do a little bit of leveling, just to let me play without chatting at the mic the whole time. But I'll capture some of it, and our next episode will be all about Lower Guck, what we get out of there, what's going on there. The main goal there is just leveling up. We're gonna try to get a couple of things. We want to get that short sword of Akesha up to high enough that we can pull out the Akesha proc and we can put that in our weapon. We want to. I have a flowing black silk sash already, but I want to get one to drop for this setup so that I can actually earn it. Once we get that, we'll start combining those, and that'll probably be our haste upgrade past the Spirale gloves that we got. We'll try to get ourselves up to like 46. Oh, this guy wants to be in my camera shot. But we'll get it. Yeah, I forgot where I totally lost my track of my own train of thought. Well, I'll try to get up to level 46, and at least that way we could do some shenanigans with some of the other guys in Clickbait Guild here. We could do some dragons. We could do stuff like that. We'll have access to the planes. We could do it before 40. We could do the dragons before 46, but the planes we can't do till 46. I think at 46, they just opened today. One of the things they just opened today was the ability to create solo instances for Soul B, the Hole, and for Kedge Keep, which before you couldn't do those because they had raid bosses in them, and you could open a raid instance, but you couldn't open a solo instance for leveling. So I think we'll do Guck for a little while, and then we'll head over to Soul B, and we'll do some of the stuff in there, maybe the Imps and Giants. Probably not going to head to the Hole. I could go to the Hole. I think that's not going to be as much fun as fighting in Soul B, so I'll probably focus on that. And then we'll start looking at what we can kill. So my goal is to solo kill Nagafen, Vox, Master Yale in the Hole, Finnegal, Atropos in the Kedge Keep, and then move on from there to the plains, and maybe eventually solo Inaruk and Cazic Thule, and then maybe start doing some sky, adventuring in sky. It really depends on how long it takes to get everything done. I think if I go level up a little bit off camera without with just those goals in Guck, and then we talk about it on the next episode, I think that will help move things along a little bit. Like I said early in this episode, I'm going to have to be a little faster because I have several episodes I want to put out, and not much time to do it before the reset on July 1st. And then come July 1st, I'll decide what I want to do with that reset. A huge milestone. We're looking good. Hope you enjoyed the bonus song. And I'll see you in the next one.
Sigil,
Everyone, Sigil here. Hopefully you're enjoying the ongoing adventures of the Darkforged Doomreaver. If you'd like to see more, go ahead and hit those YouTube buttons so you'll be alerted when the next one comes out. And I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.
born where the ice winds cut like knives. Northman child with a wolf pack stride. Frost on his beard, steel in his eye. The north wind itself learned to fear his stride. No fire swarm dressed in red, all broken, cave floors fed. Rusty blades and savage cries, Sigil left them cold as his eyes. Black Lord fell by iron hand, war drums shook through the cavern span. One by one the beasts were slain, till only echoes spoke their names. Ho, ho, Black Wolf comes. Ho, 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 knows no run. Ho, 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 Black blood flow. Ho, 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 beneath the snow. Crack the shield, break the bone. Black Burrow's halls became his throne. No retreat and no remorse, only the Doomreaver's curse. See ya, paper, blood in the snow. Doomreaver, paper, down below. Doomreaver, nose goes proud high wherever he goes. Sigil, the Black Wolf knows from Everquest ice to Black Burrow snow. Doom, Sigil, death winds blow. The Doomreaver walks and he walks alone. Sigil, Doomreaver, blood in the snow. Blood in the snow.